And respect again, people. So we're back in the Yard Style kitchen. I am Chef O'Shane, and today we're gonna do something really nice, you know, something yard style, something that all Jamaicans love. We're gonna do some chicken foot soup. Yeah, so you need your ingredients like your ground provisions. We have a piece of yam under here. We have our pumpkin, we have our chocho, we have our corn, banana, we have cocoa. That's cocoa, piece of cocoa, nice piece of cocoa. We have some thyme and we have some scallion. So we're gonna make some soup. The meat is chicken foot and chicken thighs. So let's get into it. Firstly, we're gonna prep our meat. So that's the first step of making a chicken soup, right? We're gonna prep the meat. Then we're gonna add it to some boiling water and now allow it to cook for like 20 minutes. So yeah. Here we have some distilled vinegar that we're gonna add to our raw meat. I've already added some water to it, so it's just for the cleaning of the meat. So we're gonna prep our meat, remove all the excess skin from the thighs and the toes from the chicken foot. So we're gonna slowly carve away all the excess fat. Make sure you have a clean bowl to add your chicken foot. So I usually remove all the skin from the thighs. You don't have to, but you can. And I cut this in 4 pieces. Remove all the skin, the excess fat, and cut it in 4. And then we move over to our chicken feet. So we're moving over to our chicken feet. So we're gonna remove all the toes. We're gonna chop it in half. Remove all the toes. We're gonna chop it in half. So you're gonna do this for all of the chicken feet. Make sure you remove all the toes and give it a cut. Okay, you want it to be able to cook through properly. Plus you don't want too much of big chunks of chicken feet in your meal. It doesn't look, you know, presentable. I think it doesn't look presentable. So I give it a 1 cut. So we washed and drained our meat. So now we're gonna add some water to this Dutch pot that I've already washed already. And we're gonna add all our meats into this, because this is where we're gonna make the soup. So after we set this onto the stove, we're gonna allow it to cook for like 20 minutes before adding the ground provisions. So we need to fill the pot maybe like half, because remember these have weight. So when you put it in it, the water will rise, and you don't want the water to rise too much where it's going to overflow. So this helps with the judgment of how much water you need in the pot. So we're gonna add our meats. So we're adding our chicken foot and our chicken. We're gonna add a little salt. We're gonna add some salt, a few pimento berries, like, you know, could go a dozen pimento berries. And we'll add a tablespoon of salt. We're gonna set this on to the stove. We're gonna set this on to the stove and turn the fire on. Nice. And allow it to boil for like 20 minutes. So while that is boiling, we're gonna prep our ground provisions. As now we're gonna prep our ground provisions. So we're gonna add a little vinegar into the water to allow the vegetables to look fresh and to have that dark color. So here we have our pumpkin from the farmer's market. I think we need like half of this. So we're gonna bust it in half. Cut it in half. We're gonna remove the middle. Remove all the middle. I'm gonna slightly peel the back. Not too much. Just to take off some of the outer skin and leave a little of the skin. And my grandmother styled this. So you kind of pick it up. Nice. Nice. So we have a nice piece of pumpkin right there. Clean up the area. There's not a big station, so. We have our carrots. Not carrots, we have our carrot. So we're gonna lightly scrape the skin of the carrot. We're not gonna peel it. But there's a lot of nutrients under this thin layer that we need. So you scrape it and wash it. Put the pumpkin over there, so. Then we have our cocoa. If you're a Caribbean person, you should be familiar with this. You can find this all Caribbean walks of life. Cocoa. Very delicious piece of ground provision, and it helps thicken the soup. Gives it a great flavor. So we're gonna peel our cocoa.
I wonder what the cocoa leaf tastes like also them myself. Steam it like that.
After. I put in a soup. One or the other. What could I do of course? So here we have our chocho. So we're gonna peel lightly under the skin. And I keep repeating that because I try to get as much of the food as possible. So I peel it very thinly. Yeah. Cut out that. Then we have our nice piece of yellow yam. I'm gonna peel it thinly. All right. I'm gonna drop it over here in the vinegar water. So we got our hot pepper. And we got 3 stalks of scallion. Gonna clip off the roots, take off the withered leaves, make sure it's nice and pretty. Put it over there. Then we're gonna discard our garbage, our peeling skins. We're gonna rinse cutting board. Now we're gonna dissect all of the vegetables for the soup. So we're gonna start with our pumpkin. I try to get as much even pieces as possible. Because I say I like when everything is in order. Nice even pieces. I think it does a lot for the meal in terms of visual. Looks very visually appealing. So these are our pumpkin pieces. Put over here. Then we have our cocoa. This is called cocoa. Nice small pieces. Oh. Put it over this side. And we have our chocho. We're gonna dice in half, and half in a quarter. Nice pieces. Then we have our carrots. We're gonna bust it down to half. So we can do it 2 ways. We can either, this is my special way. You can do it like this.
Not for beginners.
Yes, or we can do it like splitting on the cutting board and cut in 1/2-inch pieces. Sure everything looks uniformed and unified. Yes. I'm gonna bust our yam in half and get as much even pieces as possible. So those are like 1-inch quarters. Even pieces of yam. Just give them hot pepper over there. And this is corn. So we're gonna do some 1-inch pieces. No, 1/2-inch pieces, I should say. 1/2-inch. Then we're gonna add some thyme. I like to use a nice amount of thyme because thyme does a lot for any meal. It has a great flavor. So don't be scarce with the thyme, okay? I'm gonna rinse this off. So now that we've had all our pieces of ground provision cut, we're gonna add it to the chicken foot and the chicken. So we're gonna add everything. It has been boiling for like 15 to 20 minutes. So perfect timing to add all our seasons, everything. So you notice we put 2 hot peppers in there, 2 habaneros, 2 Scotch bonnet, but we haven't burst them. So it's just the external flavor that would be infused in the meal, because it has a flavor when it's not burst, and it has another flavor when it's burst. So it has the Scotch bonnet has 2 flavors. Yes. So we're gonna let that boil for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna add our dumplings. Well, ahead of time, I've made some dumplings. So this is whole wheat dumpling, but you can use normal flour like white flour, or you can use cornmeal and white flour to make cornmeal dumplings. But I'm choosing to use whole wheat dumpling. You know, Grandma put me on this, so that's what we're using today in the kitchen. So 10 minutes time, we're gonna add our dumplings and then add the rest of seasonings to finish the meal, okay? So see you in 10 minutes. Take out some of the noodles. Not a lot. But we just want to separate the noodles from the powder, and then we strain it off in the pot. Mix it all. We're gonna add only 1 noodle to the pot. Full noodle. So now we're gonna strain off the juice. Nice. Let's see. We're gonna discard this. Too much. Now we're gonna add 1 noodle, and slowly stir. Slow stir. Not a lot, so a little butter for flavor, and also we're gonna add some garlic powder and a little splash, like half teaspoon of all-purpose, and we're gonna put 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Then we're gonna allow this to cook for another 15 minutes. Beautiful, looking nice. So before we close the pot now, we're gonna add our dumplings. Don't forget our dumplings. So we're gonna add our dumplings now. So break them off in small even pieces, then I roll, press, turn, press, roll, press, roll, press, turn, press. And we have some dumplings, nice dumplings. Make that bubble. Smell that? The aroma. Beautiful. Smell like a true countryman cooking on the hillside. You ever go to country? I smell the food that come down the hill under your nose. Are you hungry? Yes. Take a look at that. Now we're gonna allow this to cook for 15 minutes, then we can serve. See you in 15. But so now we're gonna check on the whole pot doing. Looking beautiful, right? Yes, looking very. But you can see that a little of the water is drying down, so we're gonna add a little bit of water. Yes, a little bit of water. You don't want to stir too much or too hard, because you still want the foods to have its natural shape. Even though they're cooked, they don't have to be all mashed out and all of that. So it can still be properly cooked and just look like it's not cooked, right? So them keep them natural shape. If you don't stir the pot too much, they'll keep their natural shape. So when you put it in your dish, it's definitely gonna have that sexy look, because they all have their natural shape. So we'll make that cook for the next 7 minutes. Then we're gonna plate it. Some delicious chicken foot and chicken soup, yard style way. Yes again people, so we're back. So this is the finished product, finished meal. I hope you guys enjoy that video, and don't forget, click that like button, share it to your friends, and subscribe. So we're gonna plate the meal now. So 1 dumpling, 2 pieces of chicken, 1 piece of corn, 2 pieces of chicken foot, piece of pumpkin, piece of chocho, and cocoa, chocho and cocoa. I'm going to add some juice now. So this is it people. Finished product. Nice. Alright. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Nice and flavorful. Feeling like a rainy day. Delicious.